50 past the hour this morning, President-elect Trump is signaling a major move when it comes to immigration, responding true to a social media post saying he will declare a national emergency and use military assets for his mass deportation program. This comes as the New York Times reports people in the U.S. under temporary protected status, which gives them the right to live and work here legally, could be among Trump's first targets. With us now is Hamed Ali-Aziz, Homeland Security and immigration reporter for the New York Times. Hamed, thank you very much for being with us this morning. What more are you learning about what Donald Trump's mass deportation operation could look like?
Well, we're still in the early stages of figuring out what that operation would look like. I think one thing to keep in mind is that there are only a limited number of ICE officers and agents that DHS has to be able to carry out such a deportation operation. To carry out the promises that President-elect Trump has made, he would need to bring in other agencies, other local law enforcement officers to help him make sure they could deport, these major numbers of over 1 million people, hundreds of thousands of people. You would need much more as far as resources go.
Yeah, I mean, you wrote over the weekend that, quote, one of the president-elect's targets this time is a decades-old program providing temporary legal status to about 1 million immigrants from dangerous and deeply troubled countries such as Haiti and Venezuela. Who exactly you think could be targeted? I mean, would it be all of the nearly 1 million TPS recipients or certain groups? I mean, we have to remember that there are, a couple 100,000 Salvadorans that have been under TPS for decades now, Haitians, Venezuelans, so many others.
So I would say as far as the temporary protective status, President Trump in his first go-around moved to remove those protections from folks from Haiti, folks from Nepal, several other countries. I think we can expect that this go-around as well. He's already signaled that he intends to strip TPS for Haitians. When it comes to deportations, people who have final removal orders or final deportation orders in the United States, ICE has estimated around 1 million people are in that bucket. Those are folks perhaps that the Trump administration could look at to remove quickly.
And so I'm just thinking back as far as history. I mean, there was a moment there that during the Obama administration, about 420,000 people were being deported every single year. What was it that administration utilized as far as different assets? Because you were just telling us about how, there just aren't the numbers required for example, just Border Patrol, et cetera. What are some of the assets that were used back then that maybe could be seen to be used now?
So a lot of those deportations during the Obama administration took place near the southern border, and that's generally where a lot of deportations take place. One thing to keep in mind is that when ICE officers go out into the communities and target folks for arrests, it takes a lot of time. I've been on ICE operations before. Just to target and arrest one person, it takes several officers. It takes a lot of time and research into the movements of an individual target. So many resources are needed just to pick up a few hundred people. So taking a step back and looking at this population of 1 million people, perhaps deportation orders, it would take so many officers and agents to handle just this group.